again. I just got out the shower. So everything's fresh in my mind. I want to talk today about the United States and how it's divided to north, west, east, south. Basically, instead of thinking like that, think of it like four different quadrants and what it means. You know, I'm gonna talk a little bit about what's going on in the politics toward the end, if I remember. Right. But everything is duality down here. Uh, you got left hand, right hand, left side of the brain, right side of the brain, left side of the heart, right side of the heart. You got two legs, like I said, with two eyes. Everything's duality, and we come from women. That's why that's why men are XY. The Y is a little piece of the leg of another X missing, because we come from out the woman. We wouldn't be here if the woman wasn't first. That's just how it goes. But the woman, she's XY, but she's also, uh, I'm just gonna say masculine is red, and I'm gonna say feminine is blue, right? Like Democrats is feminine, Republicans are masculine, like that. Also, another way to look at it, um, the sun during the day, it will be masculine, and at night, when it will be feminine. So the sun is masculine, and the the moon is feminine. That's another way to look at it, right? The United States split exactly the same way, but nobody realizes it. So on the East Coast, the basically called the capital is New York City, more specifically like Manhattan, but all New York City. Right, that's where all the so-called Jews set up all their financial headquarters at. They monitor all the money from there. That's their hub, and that's also the biggest place with so-called black people. Right, they're everywhere there. So then you got, if you go south, the next hub for the east side is Atlanta, Atlanta, Georgia. Right, that's the other hub. And if you know, and I'm just, when I speak east side and west side, I'm speaking from the Mississippi River, east of the Mississippi River and west of the Mississippi River. Everything is identical mirror of each other, and we don't get taught that. So when I mean identical, I mean one side is just masculine and one side is just feminine. But both have rulers, right? And everything comes out of feminine because it comes out of woman. So she has both within her. But I'm just speaking so you understand this duality. So New York's equivalent on the west side is Los Angeles, and they about it. All the crazy stuff that happens in New York happens in LA. So they just got a little bit more heart to it. You might be able to get that fade up in LA. You might call that one on one and kill their pride. New York, you ain't. They don't care. They suckers like that. They would just stab you just because they want to be sure that they got you. So, but I mean, they both about violence. They both the tough, the tough. They don't get no tougher than Los Angeles and New York. They are duality. Los Angeles is the masculine version. New York is the feminine version. New York feminine is about the moon. New York cold, right? Los Angeles about the sun. It's hot, right? Let me speak another thing about the cold real quick. Cold is not natural, not to this planet. They everywhere they go, they make it colder and colder and colder because we're inside of a firmament, like a dome. So they basically use the same technology, just way stronger, that they use in your freezer. And it's only their lands. It's not even none of it's their lands. They stole it, but wherever they occupy, wherever they lay their heads at, it gets colder and colder and colder. The way it's supposed to be is at night it's cool, not cold. That's it. During the day, it's hot. Not burning hot, just warm. Warm and cool. That's LA. That's what's supposed to be New York. But in New York, it's freezing cold because it's taken over by them so-called Jews. Not all them Jews are bad, but Pacific ones really are. And the ones that are, they control your financial banks. They control Hollywood. That's why they're in LA. And your Queen of England, even though she'll say she's not, she is. The Pope, he is. They all are. All of them Jesuits. The letter J didn't show up until the Moors fell. I mean, they celebrated January 2nd, so they do Happy New Year's on January 1st. They celebrate the Moors falling. It was the Jesuits that did it. They weren't called the Jesuits yet. You can call them just the Crusaders, I guess. But they did that, right? They're all those are Jesuits. They made the letter J in the 1500s to call themselves Jesuits. That's when Jesus was creating everything, because that's who they are. And the Bible told you specifically, those that call themselves Jews are not. They are the synagogue of Satan. So the duality, when you break the whole duality down, it goes like this. I'm gonna use plus and negative, right? Plus and negative. Plus for masculine, for sun. Negative for cool and nighttime, right? And feminine. New York is negative, negative. Atlanta, negative, positive. Then you go to LA, which is equivalent to New York, it is positive, negative. Now I'm not sure where the hub is that matches Atlanta. I believe it's Houston, Texas, but I could be wrong. If it's not Houston, Texas, it's somewhere, I don't know, Sacramento or Portland, something like that, or maybe even Seattle. But all these cities are mirrored. So whatever city you see on the west, you go see on the east. Like even like you go to like Los Angeles, you got a whole bunch of stuff right next to it. And so if the average person don't know, they'll think it's all Los Angeles. It's so big and it never stops. That's the same thing with New York with all the boroughs. It's all the same. And even like if you want to talk about some bad cities that are pretty close, they getting up there. They want to be number one. They want to catch up with New York when it comes to this crazy stuff. Then you got like Baltimore, Philadelphia, uh, Chicago, Detroit, all those cold places, cold, cold, cold. They call them New England states for the Queen. Ain't right. Those are the worst places on this planet. And on the west, it'll be uh, Houston, Dallas, New Orleans, St. Louis. Uh, I'm not sure. I think Memphis is on both sides. Don't quote me on that, but I think Memphis is on both sides. But the real bad part's on the east side of the river. There's a few cities right there on the river, and there's a few cities that are split between the river. All right, what other cities out west? You got like Las Vegas. Uh, you got a whole bunch. Then like in the when I say the negative, positive of the east side, then you got like North Carolina, Charlotte. You got Atlanta. You got cities out in Alabama. I don't know them all. Most of the ones in Florida, but Florida changes over to more of a Caribbean style. And the Caribbean style is like this. So if you want to see where the strongest people are, they always gonna be where the sun's at, where the sun's the brightest, where the food's abundant, like it's the Garden of Eden, because it is. And that would be the Caribbeans. You could think of it like this. Like I'm gonna throw two examples. Like the Earth has a core, and it's a fireball, and that's the real sun. Heat rises. That's why the ocean is never frozen except for the top of the ocean. Why is not the bottom of the ocean ever frozen? All the fish should be frozen if the sun's up all the way up there. That's just the reflection off the firmament, and it will burn you. That's just reflection. Another way to think of this core, everything in the core, the center, is always the strongest, right? So you got North America, South America, which it don't separate. You can walk to both sides, so that makes it one continent. But I'm play like their game, right? And the center is the Caribbeans, the strongest, the warriors. I mean, we all warriors. They the ones you don't really want to go against at the end of the day, right? The center. And an apple was the center, the core, the seeds, right? That's why all these people be wasting seeds. I don't get it. Like, that's a lie. But they the same people that think abortions are the baby's not alive yet, but nothing dead grows, right? I mean, that's the first step is the seed. I mean, they call you star seeds, right? Let me talk about this sun real quick, right? So a lot of people don't understand. So they like to our enemies like to talk about evolution, how they came from monkeys, and you see on the chart you see a chimpanzee or some other monkey turn into so-called white man, right? They right. Those are experiments, blah blah blah. We did a long time. I'm pretty sure I talked about in my old videos, right? But they also have some other evolution charts where it shows the like the bacteria turn into a fish or something and then crawling out the water and getting legs and then turning into a monkey, then turning into a white man. Right? And what they're really saying is this. Everybody knows we're at the end of the age. Some people say we're at the end of Pisces, two fish, and we're going to Aquarius, right? And Aquarius is supposed to be when everything's revealed. They're pouring out the water. Pisces is two fish in the water. Um, which is all true, but they're forgetting one part. This is it. And this is gonna be unbelievable for some people. I mean, I have to go in more detail about, I guess, explain this part, but it goes like this. Everything has to do with elements. Everything has to do with elements. So our first phase, when they talk about Atlantis, it's sunk in the, some people say it's sunk, which I guess I can go with that. But some people say it's in the movie, they say it's in the water right now. You know, when people with mermaids are swimming around, mermaids, right? That was the first part of evolution. Then the second part of evolution came out the water, and y'all were on land, came out the water, right? That's the second part of evolution. The third part we didn't get to yet. That's the fire. They call hell, Helios, blah blah blah. That's when the earth separates. You have a shell. You have one 3D is a shell. It's gonna be cold and cold, cold, cold. The planet dead. Right? The other part's gonna be a flaming hot planet. We have to evolve again. You got to, just like how you evolve from the water to oxygen. You gotta evolve to fire. And when you understand that, then you start realizing all their stories. They made you the bad guy. Like even like Poseidon. Poseidon has the same trident as the devil. They were telling you water and the devil and fire. They hate that. They hate that with a passion. They like ice though. They like to make that. Like to make it cold. They like to terraform. They're terrorists. Right. All they do is destroy the planet because they can't be here. But the only catch is where they gonna go when the planet turned to fire. The people that are good, they'll go in a Merkaba ball, crystal state, until their body changes up. Then there'll just be new beings on a fire planet, just like how they survived on air. If you told some fish they could survive out of air, they would have looked at you like you're crazy. You know, same thing with the fire. There's gonna be some fire beings. You got fire in you right now. You got a soul. That's fire. Even the story in the Greek story said Prometheus was punished because he gave fire to the people. Zeus was mad. Like Zeus was mad. He tortured them. He crucified them. He made them die 1,000 deaths. I mean, not 1,000. He made them die every single day for a certain amount of years. But he couldn't die. Every time he was about to die, he just regenerated. Ain't that the same story of Jesus Christ? It's the same story of Osiris. Cyrus was killed by Set, chopped into 14 pieces. Same story, Loki. Loki has horns like a devil. They've been telling you. Inky, Loki, all that stuff. Poseidon, Prometheus, same stories. But the story of Jesus is actually Zeus. That's a new story. That was after we lost. They took the story from Yahushua, which is real. They added some stuff, changed some stuff around. Called Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Notre Dame means the mother of Mary. I mean, it said Mother of Christ, Mary, or something like that. Mary, our mother, I forgot. And you put two and two together, it's the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Frankenstein, they created that thing. These people, Jesus represents Zeus. Hey, Zeus. Zeus is evil. Like, everybody's worshiping Zeus, but they don't get it. In the new movie Thor, Gore, whatever you want to call it, Thor, Love and Thunder, right? The actor that played Zeus, Russell Crowe, he said that he thought he was playing the role Satan. Look it up. I don't think it was a mistake. I think. Oh man, but that's a spoiler. I'm sorry, but let me get back to the how to divide. I already jumped off course, right? So New York is negative negative, right? Atlanta is negative positive. Los Angeles is positive negative. And there's another city, I don't know which one it is, Houston or Seattle, one of them will be positive positive, right? And so this is how it goes. So every single city, let's talk about New York. New York negative negative, right? But they have all the people there. They have positive negative, positive positive, negative positive, and negative negative people. But in that region, the negative negative people rule it. Rule. In the South, the negative positive people rule it. When I say this negative, that's negative mean chaos. Like, man, get it correct. Ain't nothing wrong with masculine and feminine. It had nothing to do with no fruity stuff. That's what they've been trying to say. They're just the opposites. One or two, that's it. A or B, stuff like that. That's it. One's more about one way, the other one's more about the other way. But they both supposed to agree with saving the planet, like, because it's our home. It's our home. So, like, if you go down to Atlanta, you could see a lot of people about that gunplay. But if you talk to somebody from New York, you're like, man, it's pretty soft down there in Atlanta. Matter of fact, everybody that comes from bad cities moves to Atlanta. But here's the deal. Atlanta always been about that gunplay. They got them guns. It's just they got the sun on them, so they ain't so mad like the people up north in the cold. That's why they negative negative. That cold ain't good for us. It does something wrong to us. We need the sun. But they're so close to New York that it still rubs off them. They're on the feminine side. But I'm making it sound like feminine's bad. No, but they make it bad. The people that rule it make it bad. Feminine is good. It's a good thing. We're going back to feminine ways. I mean, masculine ways came out of feminine. So, like I said, the woman's both. But on the East Coast, it's more feminine. So they take stuff personally. They might go behind your, they might wait, go behind your back, cut your throat, stab you in the back. And that's what, on the West Coast, they'll do the same. Except for, you have a better chance of getting that one-on-one. They'll tell you in the face, like, you did wrong. We got to handle it, so what you want to do? You won't get that on the East Coast. That's the masculine and feminine, but that's because of the sun. They got more honor. But if you talk to people out there in the West, they'll be like, it ain't like that. And they right, to an extent. Because it got bad. Everything got bad. Both sides, bad, 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 bad. But you can't have one side bad and not the other side bad. They the same. Just a little bit different. Duality. Like your left hand, right hand. So if the left hand going through some bad stuff, the right hand gonna be going through some bad stuff too. It's the way it goes. So the same thing with like Houston. Like Houston, if you look at everybody on the west side of the Mississippi, they don't follow nothing toward the east. They don't follow none of that stuff. They think that's all weird. They only follow what California does. And that's just how it goes. Everybody on the east side of the Mississippi, they follow what New York does. They don't like everything, but they follow it. Some people might even call them bitch ass niggas. They ain't. It's not like that. And if you say that to them, they gonna whoop your ass. That's just one way to look at it. It's just how the different mindsets. Everybody's both about the violence. Everybody's supposed to be about the love. That's what it is. So if you want to see like the perfect couple, you'll find you'll see a woman from the east, specifically up in one of the New England states, and a man from like Los Angeles. They will be a power couple, beyond strong. Like, ain't nothing will ever get to them, and they'll keep each other in check. Like, that's how it goes. I mean, you can do it the other way too, because you can have a man from the East Coast and a woman from the West Coast. Same thing, power couple. I just made it. It don't matter what it is, as long as it's man and woman. We were made in pairs to pair bond, to reproduce. If people ain't reproducing, the world's over. What happens if a tree don't reproduce? That might be the last tree. Same thing with people. Same thing. Life is good, life is great. Oh, so let me talk about this Trump thing real quick, right? So, Trump has been impeached twice. One time, he wasn't even president, which I'm pretty sure is against their constitution. My constitution, too. Everybody's constitution, right? But it ain't no con. So, they impeached the guy 2 times. They couldn't, it didn't go nowhere. So then they made a special committee to go against them. The special committee, Nancy Pelosi's a Democrat. She specifically said that she wants to be bipartisan so she can prove to the world that Trump's bad. But she had to handpick the Pacific Republicans because she said they were too much Trump supporters. So she picks 2 Republicans. One of them I don't know anything about. I think he was upset, so he voted to impeach Trump or something like that. Okay, I get it. The second one, her name is Liz Cheney. Nancy Pelosi picked the woman of the daughter. She picked the daughter of the man that was vice president to the man that hates Trump. Bush has always hated Trump. Bush Jr., Bush Sr., all of them. They hate Trump. Cheney, that's his right-hand man. Some people even said Cheney was actually the one really running the country, right? That's who they picked? A person with an actual family vendetta against Trump? Okay, so it gets goofy, right? So they got all these people, they keep talking about how they got all these assumptions but they need to do some more investigation, right? They need more evidence, right? But that's not how a trial's supposed to work. You're supposed to have some big evidence, and then you can if you can get some more evidence if stuff looks suspicious, but you have to have some big evidence, right? This is the opposite. They're going to get the evidence. So these people run up into Trump's house when he's not there, right? And they just start taking a whole bunch of stuff. They just take a whole bunch of stuff, right? Don't it sound like Trump the first black president, so-called black? Like, this is what we thought was gonna happen to Obama. Nothing happened. The racists left them on everybody. Secret Service was good then. They still good to this day. It's a miracle, right? Trump, they can't stand. I know they say 1,000 reasons why Trump is bad, but let me break this down. I don't vote. I never will. This is my land. They can work with us. That's it, right? Trump the only one. He gave y'all breadcrumbs. The rest of them didn't give y'all nothing. So Trump let y'all people out of jail, out of prison. These people were in there for stupid third offenses, having smoking crack 3 times, or smoking crack 2 times, doing something real dumb, something stupid, something petty, and getting that 3rd strike. And they locked up for a long time, doing life sentences with some petty stuff, while all these so-called white people were doing cocaine. And Obama did change that. I give him props on that. He made the sentences the same from there on out, but he didn't free them. Trump did. That First Step Act. They said, oh, when people can bring that up, they were like, oh, well, Trump didn't really do that. It was such and such, such and such. But say the same for Obama then. Same thing. Trump still signed it. He didn't have to sign nothing. Hey, Trump's freeing a whole bunch of so-called black people out of long sentences and prison and all that stuff. He's a good man. Well, he okay. I put it like that. He okay. And these people want him. They want his head. Right? And it's all. This is what it's really about. This is what it's only about. They don't want him to run in 2024, and they can't beat him. Because it's already questionable if they won the last time. They didn't even campaign. You know, something got 81 votes. 74 million votes is what Trump got. That's a world-breaking record right there. I mean, the last one was 69 million votes, and that was Obama in 2008. All right, so, and that was like a massive blowout, right? All of a sudden, Biden gets 81 million votes. He didn't even campaign. He barely left this room because of COVID, right? This dude gets 81 to 69 million votes. What was that? 12 more million votes than Barack Obama? Come on, who's y'all playing some phony game? They even said the day of the election that Trump was winning and everything. It was like a blowout. But they was like mail-in votes are still coming in. So all of a sudden they were counting for a whole week straight, and then they finally got their 81 votes, right? So they're worried about in 2024, if Trump runs again. They know they can't beat him, so they have to disqualify him, and that was the whole point of the two impeachments. This January 6th investigation, the FBI raid on his home, a president of the United States home. Never has been heard, never done before. They had the FBI raid him, right? And here's the dumb thing. Trump had a year and a half to move some important information if he needed to. Of course, there ain't nothing there. A year and a half? The same thing about the January 6th mob. They got out of hand, yeah. But why they stop? Oh, because they're waiting on a Trump tweet to tell them to go riot again? No, because it was all phony. It was all lies. It was something that got out of hand, just like a sporting event, like a championship game, and it's not the winning or losing home team. They tear up the city. These people went running into the Capitol Hill, right? So it was a couple people that might have escalated a few things if they had a chance, but it wasn't nothing like that. So they've been trying to use all this stuff because that is their campaign. You know, their first reason why they impeached him was about a phone call to the Ukraine president, and now they love Ukraine. like, like you got Biden's son. There's videos out with him buying a bunch of crack. I mean, a lot of crack, not a little crack rock, like a lot of crack, right? He didn't do no time, and this is the same dude that locked our people up. Like, man, that's why he liked the woman too, Harris, because she liked to lock us up. Throw away the key. Like everything you see Barack do. I mean, you see everything you see Biden's family do. Ain't nothing happen, right? It's a joke, and Biden made so much money from Ukraine, and Biden's son made a lot of money from Ukraine and China, and the money stopped when Trump became president. Why is that? That's not weird. It stopped because he had no more power. It was because of his father, the vice president. I'm talking about a whole bunch of goofy stuff. I'm just breaking it down. I don't vote. They stole my land. The Constitution, they act like it don't apply to me. But I read it. I knew about the Peace and Friendship Treaty. I knew about all that. I know what you did. I know about the Gullah Wars. I know we freed ourselves. 1865, yeah, we freed ourselves. I know you tricked us and put us back in bondage with the money. I know we tried to make peace with y'all. We told y'all can have your own land on the other side. Stay over there. Still wasn't enough. So that fire's coming. What they call the dragon. I ain't no dragon. I ain't dragging on the floor. I'm a serpent. Winged serpent. With a fire breath. That sun.
That's soul. SOLSOUL.